Is OpenAI creating the future or a worse nightmare? Apple is facing serious allegations and EA just took a $6 billion hit. OpenAI just released a new AI agent. And no, it's not MI6, but it is called Operator. It's part of this new research preview program. I can interact with web pages by typing, clicking, and scrolling. You know, the basic stuff that we do with our computers every day, but I guess AI is gunning for that now. What's cool is that Operator can self-correct and knows when to back out. Like when the site asks you for your credentials, because let's be honest, even AI can't crack the dreaded "Are you a robot?" test. OpenAI is teaming up with companies like DoorDash and Instacart to address real-world problems. I mean, DoorDash does solve hunger, I guess your hunger. But here's the kicker. Operator is exclusive to OpenAI's $200 per month ChatGPT Pro tier. Yep, because their lead need an AI to help them book their next holiday destination home, while we have to stick with the old primitive hands. Tragic. LinkedIn was secretly linking your data to train AI. That's according to this class action lawsuit filed. LinkedIn users, including premium subscribers, have accused Microsoft-owned company of violating their privacy by using personal data to train algorithms without their consent. The lawsuit filed in California federal court demands compensation for allegedly using private messages to train AI. And it gets juicier. The users claim LinkedIn quietly updated its privacy policy last September to say they use your data for machine learning. I mean, at that point, what's the problem in just saying we're going to use your data to train an AI? What are you ashamed of? Of course, LinkedIn denies everything, calling the claims false, but they also insist that users can opt out of data sharing. But here's the kicker. The plaintiffs want at least $1,000 per user for compensation. LinkedIn, they're not interested in settling. But hey, at least they're collecting your data through the frustrations you're letting out. So go ahead, let them all out. Just like Fitbit, which burned its users. I mean, if you're not burning those calories, they might as well burn them for you. Fitbit has been fined over $12 million over its Ionic smartwatches, which were recalled back in 2022 after reports of overheating and them causing burns. The Consumer Product Safety Commission, CPSC, has previously accepted the settlement, but let's rewind. The recall affected nearly 2 million watches, with multiple reports of overheating batteries and burns. I'm not talking about mild discomfort here. We're talking about second and third degree burns. But here's the kicker. The complaints poured in through 2018 and 2020. And even though Fitbit resolved the issue with a firmware patch, they didn't report the issue to CPSC as required. Because, you know, not every company is in the mood of self-snitching. Fast forward to 2023, and Google, which owns Fitbit, found itself in hot water when consumers sued over the same battery and overheating issues. And Fitbit's excuse for this? Consumer hygiene. I mean, if you can solve the problem that your consumers actually address to you, you might as well choose the next big thing, their personal insecurities. And speaking of Google, it just swung by its favorite shop, HTC, and dropped, a casual $250 million to acquire the company's XR-related business. Looks like Google's tired of watching Meta and Apple hog all the AR spending. As part of the deal, some of HTC's Vive engineering staff will be headed to Google, alongside some non-exclusive intellectual property rights. But here's the twist. HTC isn't walking empty-handed out of this. They're keeping the rights to use and develop the technology themselves. So while Google is gearing up to challenge Meta and Apple in the AR race, HTC might still get to play along in the sandbox. It's like selling all of your toys, but keeping your favorite one. Speaking of toys, we've got some exciting leaks about Sony's upcoming XM6 headphones. The leaks come courtesy of an FCC filing, which hints at a potential redesign. Now, it's just a prototype and things might change in the future, but it really looks like Sony's mixing things up here. Let's talk about the detachable ear cups, and the latest Bluetooth tech will be incorporated into these headphones. The model number is similar to that of the XM5, which shows that this could be its successor. The filing also includes a short-term confidentiality request that ends on July 22nd this year. Coincidence? Maybe not. Considering the XM5s were released in May 2022, we might just get a summer release for the XM6s, which is a needed upgrade for your ears. Now, into a little segment I like to call What's Trump Up To? The Orange Man is at it again. This time he's announced a plan to fast-track the approval process for AI companies looking to build power plants for their data centers. The goal, to give AI companies all the energy they need and to fast-track that long process that they have to go through to build new power plants. It's all about helping the companies ramp up production and quickly keep the US in pace against China. Because, let's be real, we all know he doesn't like them. So if the plan goes well, the AI race might get more intense, or better yet, powered up. Now into the Apple news. Apple has officially scrapped the 2024 release for the new CarPlay. I guess a new year doesn't mean a new CarPlay. If you're trying to check the website, spoiler alert, they've already scrapped it out of their timeline. The software is still coming eventually. Apple first previewed the software back in WWDC 2022, promising deeper integration into the car's ecosystem and functionality across, and that it will be unique across different car platforms and different cars. Sounds great, right? Too bad we have to stick to imagining at how good it could have been, or it would be. There have been hints through a mention in iOS update and even an EU database last month. And Apple claimed that several car manufacturers are ready to support the software, so it really is just a matter of up to Apple making sure that they have the software ready. I mean, we can't wait if the software is actually good enough that Apple has to delay this long, but if it isn't, nah. Hey, I've got an idea for passive income for where you can make up to $50,000. All you need, a phone that already has TikTok. Sounds wild, right? But hear me out. Some people have made close to $50,000 selling iPhones or phones with TikTok on eBay. After TikTok went dark for a bit, the app became, well, unavailable. And if you deleted it, then it got lost in the dark abyss where apps go when they're deleted. Some people were capitalizing on this. Apparently phones with TikTok installed are going crazy amounts. In fact, an iPhone 16 Pro Max with TikTok was going for a whopping $22,000. And guess what? It might actually sell. So if you've got an old phone lying around, you've literally got a gold mine on your hands. No joke. But what is a joke is Siri's performance. In a test involving Super Bowl winners, out of 58 Super Bowls, Siri only correctly identified the winner of 20 of them. That's a sad 34% accuracy rate. Now, if you ask me those questions, I'd be more cooked than Siri. But I'm not Apple's latest flagship AI. This highlights how Siri is either being left in the dust or being given the bare minimum when it comes to upgrades. For comparison, other AI systems perform much better, like ChatGPT and Gemini. So what's the deal here? Is Siri not a sports fan, or does he just hate the Super Bowl? Into a segment I like to call Apple in Court. Apple is facing a class action lawsuit for allegedly selling watch bands containing high levels of these substances, also known as forever chemicals. Why not just call it by forever chemicals instead of this long-ass name? Apple's bands are designed to be water, sweat, and oil resistant. Qualities you'd want in a band you'd want to wear, right? The catch is that these bands are made out of a material that isn't easy to break down and, with prolonged use, can actually give you cancer. They'll also claim that Apple had safer alternatives from these forever chemicals, but chose not to use them for the sake of being competitive. Now, Apple has said that these bands are safe to use and undergo extensive testing. My question to you is this: who do you believe? A corporation wants to make profit on you, or people who tell you that the stuff the corporation is selling you isn't good for your health? That's up to you. Moving on, a judge ruled that there is a possibility that Apple illegally paid women less than men. This decision allows the class action lawsuit representing 12,000 current and former Apple employees to move forward. This issue came to light in 2018 through a survey which revealed that a 6% pay gap was present between male and female workers in the same tech field. And it doesn't stop there. The survey also showed that white employees earned more than non-white employees and that they actually received more stock grants. Apple, for its part, has denied this and has committed to fight this thing in court, asserting that employees of all genders and races earn the same for similar work with comparable experience and performance. Into the gaming news, we have some leaked benchmarks concerning the RTX 5080, which is reported to be 22% faster than its predecessor, the RTX 4080, in Vulkan API test, and 6% faster in OpenAI's API test. Despite this improvement, the 5080 still bows down to the 4090 by 19%. Scalpers are already charging double for the RTX 5090, and good luck getting your hands on this. One UK retailer's inventory are less than 10 in the single-digit figures, forcing them to limit the number of pre-orders that it can actually provide. Some retailers believe that these shortages will last up to 3 months. And speaking of pre-orders, we've got some juicy rumors about AMD's upcoming RX 9070 GPU. According to a listing by a US retailer, DMH, pre-order is expected to start on March 23rd. The good news, you won't need to go on an expedition to find AMD's GPUs. Unlike some GPUs, AMD's GPUs are rumored to be much more accessible. as it's taking its time to make sure that its software actually supports more games by the time FSR4 comes out with the GPU launch. So it looks like AMD is not just bringing some hardware heat, but leveling up its software game as well. 6 billion. That's how much EA lost in its market value after its two major titles, FC25 and Dragon Age The Vanguard, seriously underperformed. Some analysts are saying that it's time for EA to find a new cash cow instead of milking FC 2025. I mean, duh, if one thing isn't making money for you, you have to find a different thing. But unfortunately for EA, it means charging exorbitant fees for in-game purchases.